Hey everybody, Uncle Buck here. Thanks for tuning in. So today we are going to be talking about this, the Sig Romeo Zero red dot. This particular one is the 3 MOA. I got a chance to put almost 200 rounds through it, and I'm going to give you a quick review on it and my thoughts on it. But first, let's take a look what comes in the package. So in the package, obviously you have the package itself. You get 2 different sets of screws, depending on what plate you're using, instructions, the warning, and 2 Allens, one for the windage and one that fit the mount screws. And of course, the sight itself. All right, so let's take a look at this thing and then I'll give you my thoughts. So you can see the windage screw right there. You can see the elevation screw right there, and then the 2 mount screws. And if you see this little dot inside the hood, that's your brightness adjustment. It is tricky. I mean, I got these small hands here. I got these small hands and it can be tricky. It is kind of nice. You can raise your finger on the hood, but in my opinion, there's no detent or click or any indication that you're adjusting it. So you just kind of push it and then take a look, see what you think. So as far as mounting it, this plate here is plate number 2 from Springfield. If you go to ospplate.com, if you bought it new, maybe even if you didn't buy it new, you put in your serial number and they'll send you the plate for free. So that's what I did. The plate came in, I was excited. I go to mount it. It's 9 inch-pounds, by the way. And the left screw is too long. So I swapped the screws, same result. You couldn't get the head to seat in the countersink of the sight itself. So I actually had to take a thread off on the grinder. Once I took that thread off, they both torqued and seated fine. Take a look at the picture. Now it looks a little funky on camera. It does not have that halo ring. It's actually a really good picture, and it works out co-witnessing on this pretty well. What I don't like about mounting it is, see that space in the back? It was mounted flat and torqued until I started adjusting my elevation. So I have my elevation as far as it'll go, and it's still just shooting a little bit off. It won't let me go any higher. The screws bottomed out. So that is definitely a negative. Take a look at that picture again. All right, so let's talk about this thing and the backstory, kind of how I ended up with it. So I was looking for an optic for this OSP or XDM Elite, whatever you want to call it, from Springfield. I actually had to narrow it down to Vortex because they've always treated me really well on hunting scopes. Took game last year over 350 yards with it. Always hold 0. I go through some pretty rough terrain on the 4-wheeler and everything. Never had a problem with Vortex. So Vortex was high on my radar. And then of course, anything you read on the internet, Holison has awesome reviews for red dots on pistols. So those are the 2 I was looking at. I've been working out of town, and there was a place, I won't say the name of the store, but it's a hunting store, pretty common. They had these things for like $100, these SIGs. And I said, you know what, that's pretty short money to try it out. So I picked it up. Already talked to you about mounting it. I did have to shave a little on the screw. Not the sight's fault though. It's probably just the way the plate's made. And they send those screws as a courtesy anyway, so not a big deal. The first big deal was the elevation. The elevation adjustment, it's maxed out and it's still not where I want it. It's just a little bit off. I mean, if you're inside 25 yards, not much of a difference, but it's not where I want it to be personally. So let's talk about the bad, or at least the really bad that I experienced. So you'll notice if you watch those videos of me shooting it at plates, you'll notice a couple times I hesitate. And that's because it varied, but anywhere between 3 and 8 rounds, it would turn off. So it would cycle around, weapon would cycle just fine, no weapon problems, and the dot would be gone. So usually I'd finish that course of fire. Luckily this has suppressor height sights, so just co-witness or just straight iron sight it. I just straight iron sighted it to finish out the course of fire, and then one time it wouldn't turn on at all. So I said, well, I'm out here, I'm gonna keep shooting. I love shooting this pistol. Kept shooting, tried again, held the button again, like it says in the instructions. You can hold it for, I think it says 2 seconds in the instructions to turn it off and on if you so choose. The remaining times it turned off, every time I held the button for 2 seconds, it turned on. So I'll say this, overall, for $100, probably can't go wrong. If you're paying full retail, whatever they are now, 178, $200, somewhere in there, I probably wouldn't pull the trigger on it. But if you're just looking for fun and you do have a weapon where the iron sights are still an option and you can co-witness really well, sure, why not? It's fun for $100. If you're counting on it in competitions or hunting or self-defense, probably not a good choice for you. But I'll probably hang on to it for a while. I mean, it is fun for plinking. If you're just plinking and it turns off, whatever. But like I said, if you need it, not the sight I'd go to. And I'm real partial to Sig too. I've got quite a few of their weapons. Love their weapons. I haven't even had failed a cycle on any of the Sigs I own, whether it be rifles or pistols. Absolutely love Sig weapons. Just wouldn't recommend this sight unless you're just looking for something to plink with. Well, I guess that's it. Thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks.